Welcome, everybody. Good evening, or afternoon, and morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to BeoTalk 259.
It's almost 260.
Yeah,
It's,
it's been going for a while.
it's been going for a long time. Happy long Canada long weekend, everybody.
Canada. I heard you
That's
may
right.
be changing the national anthem.
I haven't been following that nonsense, so I wouldn't know.
Apparently, the Prime Minister decided that it might be time to update the national anthem or something.
Sweet.
Oh, diversity. Something like
Oh
that.
boy, yeah, that guy. Yeah,
Good luck melting in California. I hope you cool down at some point because it's kind of hot here in Florida as well. We've had like 2 days that were like 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what, like close to 40 C.
yeah, that doesn't. It's not fun.
So that's kind of toasty. And I kind of felt like a toasty being outside, like it was all crispy and stuff. Like having to what you call it, mow the lawn and every fourth day or so, I kind of literally felt crispy. And
Do
I
you do it
have
in the morning?
sure, but it's
It's still
hot in
hot.
the morning.
Should get one of those Milwaukee fans for yourself to have it blowing at you as you drive.
Yeah, so I've actually had to do the most unmanliest thing ever. I've had to
What?
moisturize.
Oh my
Because
God.
otherwise, every time you do this, you get like these white cracks from wrinkles and stuff, and it like literally cracks. You almost hear it go. Like, that's too dry.
Oh boy.
Just get some shilling out of the way. The links are
Let's do that.
already in the description, but I'll plop them in again. If you want something from Skinny Play, use the promo code for 10% off. Always a good deal. What else do we have? Oh yeah, subscribe to our Substack. Always something fun. I still have to upload a few things, but I'll be getting to that over the next few weeks because a lot of stuff here is finally settled. What else? Oh, come and join our Discord. Good fun. We're nearly at 700 people now, I think.
Hmm.
So it's getting rather large. So, but if you want to do a giveaway, let us know. We have a Discord too. And we actually have helpful shit in our Discord. Not just weird, dong monsters and NFTs and that sort of shit.
I honestly, I was really like, I don't understand the new website homepage deal with those. One looks like it looks like balloon people or things.
Yeah. Oh, it's over 700. Bloody
Yeah,
hell. We're going fast. Thank you, Max. Max is one of the bestest mods out there, so thank you, Max. Also, if you happen to hate YouTube, we're also on Twitch. And at some point, we'll be branching out to Rumble as well, because people seem to be using it. So,
hmm
yeah. So far, all the audio levels still seem okay. I didn't understand what happened last week. It's really weird because my computer was in bits in a carry-on case, and you put it together, and the audio levels auto to the correct places, and then you come a week later, and it's all messed up again. Yeah. So it is what it is. Also, if you feel like supporting the show, a super chat guarantees an answer to your question and/or topic, and just generally keeps the lights on. So that's also nice.
hmm
So yeah, thank you, and leave a like and subscribe. Those are free, and it helps us in the algorithm and that sort of stuff. So yeah, please leave a like. Very much appreciated, and we'll get to the standard weirdness that B&O has for us.
That's right. Barry Santini has a question: is the recommended mountain height for the theater ear level or below, etc.? I would go. Well, it really is dependent on the house because Usually in Canada, unfortunately, we end up mounting this stuff over the fireplace, so you lose at least a meter, right? That it goes higher. But like I prefer it a little higher than this. But if it's on the floor stand, it's a different presentation of the piece itself altogether as a product. It's more a TV set than just a soundbar on a wall with a big screen over top of it. So what we usually do, let me grab a tape measure here. Look at my girly one. Frick, I lost one, so I bought a whole bunch now. Usually we go about 32 to 36 inches height. That would
The
be
bottom or the middle?
that would be like the bottom of the theater. Because a lot of people also have the reclining chairs, so they do want the stuff mounted higher. It's as much as it doesn't make sense in Europe or in B&O design, that's just the fact of how it is.
Barry, I would heavily say this depends so much on use case, your furniture. Like, do you have a high couch, a low couch? I mean, I've been in couches where you sort of go like,
okay, but hang on a second. If you're replacing the BV9 with an LG77 in a theater, are you putting that on the floor stand? Because if you're putting on a floor stand, the screen height is basically exactly the same as the bottom of the screen on the on the BeoVision 9. B&O always retains that. I think it's 20 inches or whatever in centimeters. I can give that to you right away. Yeah, it's 20 inches to the bottom of the screen, or 50 centimeters usually is the standard, half a meter off the ground.
If you're going to use it as a TV, I would say, as a general rule of thumb, it's much more important that how you regularly sit and watch TV, that the middle of the screen is in the middle of your sight line. So if you lay back and you're... Oh, sorry, I can't do that. YouTube. It's sort of... See, this is not so German, but... when the middle of the screen is sort of here, then you see what it is. But if you sit more upright, the middle of the screen is lower. So that's what I would say is more important. As in, keep the screen roughly... Like, you can go 10% either way, right? But, so I went from a 77-inch Harmony to a theater with an 83-inch panel. And the 83-inch panel was directly in the middle line of sight. The Harmony was slightly taller. So I kept the same height total. That meant the theater was slightly lower, but I still thought it was a better total solution than the Harmony. So I would say the theater, if you're going to use it as a TV, like if you're going to use it for music only, then yes, ear level is probably a bit better. But since it's a TV, you probably have other speakers attached to it. I say it matters less because the picture does quite literally half the talking. So, I mean, you could go like for audio, like, yes, it's perfect at ear height, but like your TV is going to be like that, right? I mean,
yeah, 77-inch panel, that's a lot.
Yeah.
To heights, like you're going to be looking up a lot more than you should.
I mean, so let's say you're, I don't know, average male height, 1.80 m on a standard chair, which is like 50-ish centimeters off the ground. That means the theater would have to be like 1.10 m off the floor.
Yeah, like, that's a lot.
Yeah. So that's that's what I would say. Is like, keep the center of the screen sort of center with your eyesight, because it's also less straining on your eyes. Because if you constantly have to look upright, like, that gets tiring. Same if you have to look down all the time.
Yeah, most of the time when the screens that are of a larger size, like 77-inch, more or less, we haven't done that many 86s or 83s yet. But 77s, when they are out, or when we do the install, usually the cabinet height, if it's either wall mounted or on a table stand, the cabinet height doesn't go past the height of the regular coffee table, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever that you have, the little equipment table then. really doesn't need much in there because everything can be hidden away, like unlike with conventional products.
Yeah, I have to look it up. I think I still have it in my phone somewhere, but I think at my old place, the top of the theater
Hmm.
for me was 38 centimeters off the ground. But
So it's relatively low.
yeah, it's quite low. But I also had a low glass table. So
Hmm.
from where I sat, I had direct line of sight without even the glass blocking the bottom
Hmm.
of the drivers.
Hmm.
Like if I was at my sister's place, she has a higher solid oak coffee table thing that's like 50 centimeters off the ground, right? I wouldn't do it because then you're just putting something in front of the theater.
Hmm. Yeah, but I do disagree with going high on the screens, but sometimes you just can't.
Sometimes,
Unless it's also a bedroom, because bedroom it's higher, it's easier to look at it from when you're in bed.
yeah, and then it depends on how tall is your bed. Do you have enormous feet? Do you watch on your
Yeah,
back or do you lay on your side? Is it on your
yeah,
foot end or on the side? Uh, yeah,
yeah.
there's not really a wrong position. I mean, I guess if you really, really wanted it at ear level, I guess you could hang the theater above the screen. But that's going to be pretty
It's gonna be
goofy.
weird, man.
I mean,
That would be
cable
just
wise, it
weird.
works. It's fine.
Yeah, but
It
that
just won't work
just
with the
like,
face amount.
yeah, that would be weird. But yeah, so I was telling you earlier, we were this week was pretty interesting. We had to move a set of 90s from the client that we moved. I think when I first moved to Montreal, it was one of the first jobs that I did when we had to move the 90s.
Hmm.
And this time I had to move it out of that house into an even narrower door, where it's gotten to the point where the only way to fix it or fit these speakers in the house was to remove the crowns from from both speakers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's another hour and a half, 2 hours almost, but it's much safer also to move it because then you don't have anything precious that does get damaged, right? Because it's just everything,
But that
whatever.
only gives you like an inch, maybe, if you take that
It's
off.
all it takes, bro. You had to take the fucking door off too and everything.
That seems like a tight door, though.
Yeah, that was the garage door in the old freaking Montreal houses. It was literally, uh, it was 28 inches, and the speakers. Let me just see, because the speakers I think are 71 centimeters,
Yeah.
and the door with the door off was 28 inch, so that was half. I think they're 73 or something. The speakers with the crowns. So, but when you take the crowns off, you gain a centimeter and a half on each side. So you do get, or a little more than that, 2.5 centimeters almost. So yeah, it was a biatch. But we got it in, set them up. They sound awesome. They still sound freaking awesome. Those speakers are ridiculous. I hate the fact that mine are in the storage locker still. Fudge.
Ah, you can sell them to me, then they won't be in the storage locker.
I know. That's no. Still no. Still the same answer. But yeah, it was pretty interesting to put them back, not just take them apart, put them back, but actually to make it into the house and get them done because he was considering, well, shit, these speakers is just being a pain, but I'm like, it's more sentimental value than anything to him, right? Uh, because it was his father's speakers,
Oh,
and
yeah. Makes
and
sense then.
yeah, and he just like, well, I'm like, if we can't fit them in, we need to box them up. When measured around, like, we can fit them in, guys, but we need to take the crowns off. So the only thing that's really, I guess, sucky if you do that you also have to take off all the sails. So the amount of like square footage that you need to lay all this shit out on
That has to be clean, yes.
that has to be clean it starts to get overwhelming, right? Because you can't put you can't just have stack the crowns on top of one another all willy-nilly, like, right? They just get dented and stuff. So you have to have room for each crown. Thank God they have huge couches so that everything was laid out. Bring one speaker in, put it together, take the other one apart, bring all the parts onto the couch one by one, bring the second speaker in, put it all back together. And that was basically the entire day.
And then you over tighten one of the screws, and it's like,
No,
oh,
there was no
oh.
over tightening or anything. Like, even though I use mechanical screwdriver, I have the thing like feather soft. There's no way.
Yeah, like, I don't know, 10 Newton meters, something like that.
Not even, man. It's literally like you can tighten the freaking your eyeglasses screw with it without screwing them up.
Oh.
It's very, very, it's very, very sensitive. Like, unless you crank it to, like, give me the O-rings. So, so yeah, it was an interesting week because it was a whole, basically 3 days, I guess, we spent doing that. And then the rest was just a blur after that because my back freaking kills, man. These speakers are such a pain in the ass to move.
Yeah,
but they're so rewarding once you hook them up. They're so rewarding once they're tuned. So yeah, it was very interesting. Anyways, my observation based on playing with the theater for a week after that service update that I pushed on it.
Mm-hmm.
So far so good. I had no issues with it at all, and the remotes seem to be retaining the connectivity versus just dropping off.
Sweet, finally.
Yeah. Because for me, I don't know how many people are blessed with the nonsense of having 3 remotes for one product, basically.
Not many.
Few of them I had to cycle them over. I just put it on the the wall bracket, leave it for whatever, because I took the other remote. But when I picked it up next, it was paired back to the TV.
Sweet.
So I don't understand, but now it's not doing that with any remotes. It's much more responsive, so good job on the software. I still think that if it's in the audio mode, the volume, not the volume, but the on indicator, the white light should be blinking, just so at least you can see it from, because you can't really see the touch panel. Let's face the fact, nobody.
No,
can
you
see
have to
the
be above it.
panel. You have to be above it because the sensors then go off and light it up, and so it's illuminated for you to see. But other than that, you can't see it. So like when you're from further up, sometimes like, am I actually turning the volume up? Because
and then all of a
sudden, yeah, and then it just rockets up or whatever because of the goofy delay. So the delay is much better now, or much lower. It's still, I've caught it a couple times that it happened, but it's going good. Altogether, it's going good.
Good.
So
well,
I'm happy with it.
We decided our live isn't hard enough as it is yet, so we're gonna do a bunch of stuff all over again.
Oh yeah.
Let the training begin.
Oh, what? You guys got a new cat?
Yeah, third kitty.
Jesus Christ, on a cracker. That's gonna be interesting. How's the two handling the new guy?
It's a she actually.
Or she? Ooh. So there's gonna be some fucking competition now.
She's very interested in the boys, and the boys are very not interested in her. I sometimes God, you never watched South Park, right? But there's this episode of Tom Cruise is in the closet. People will know it if you ever watch South Park. But I adapted that song to my male cats for fun. Like I sing to Winston, like Winston's in the closet. But it seems like he's actually not interested in females.
Interesting. For now, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean they're separated in different rooms at the moment because she's super affectionate, and she loves cuddles, and our other cats are like, wait, cuddles? Nah.
Oh, so they fight or?
No. They're not in the same room really. They smell each other and they have to get used to each other, but. Yeah, we found her in a shelter, and it was the cutest cat ever. So, so far so good. But we have a third cat now. And my God, does she have nails? Like they're like
Women
these.
usually do, bro. Fuck, I'm making a coffee.
Yeah, they're sharp as fuck too.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I decided to. Well, actually, I'm semi okay because the 50s have the alu grills, but not everything else does. So yeah, we'll teach another cat how to not scratch B&O stuff.
I think when she sees it from them, I don't think she'll do it.
No, I mean, yeah. So yeah, if I ever get another set of 50s, I must get the alu grills. So
I think they're the nicest grills that are on those speakers. To be honest with you, we have them in the shop, and they just look immaculate. Like, they honestly look immaculate.
oh yeah, that's in the end why I bought them, because initially
Hmm.
I was sort of on the fence, and then Sandeep outdid it, and then it's sort of like, why didn't I buy this sooner? Because it made so much sense once it was in the house.
Yes.
Like on the site, it looked a bit like, I'm not sure. But in real life, it's actually like, this is actually fantastic.
Yeah, they're very well machined, very nicely done. But they
I mean,
definitely, you can see the cost on them. Like, I can completely appreciate how the machining is done on that thing. It's sick.
yeah, it sort of doesn't do it justice on the website. Like it's like these are weird renders that may have been photos, but it just looks so bloody fake, and they're only shown on the black ones too.
Hmm.
So I understand if your dealer is nowhere near you that you kind of may not do it.
Yeah, they look spectacular. The weird thing is that only with the camera you can see the drivers inside, but your eye just can't see them unless it's sunny, like proper sunny inside it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're beautiful.
So yeah, and so
So you're
I
toying with the idea of getting another set of 50s?
well, another thing happened, which is going to be expensive, right? Turns out that our windows were replaced at some point, but that was in the early 90s, maybe something like that.
Shit.
So, I mean, they're fine as windows, and energy doesn't cost shit here.
Hmm.
I mean, we got our first electrical bill with the AC running like we're Europeans in a fucking toaster oven, and the pool pump and everything, and the total bill was like, I don't know, like €80 or something.
Wow.
And I think this was for 6 weeks, so it's like okay, but it's more for storms and that sort of thing, because all windows produced for Florida past 1995 have to be like
Hurricane
hurricane
rated.
impact rated and stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's gonna be about 30K.
Shit, talking mushrooms,
So that
bro.
was like, oof.
Unforeseen expenses.
Well, I mean, we wanted to update some of them because of security, but then we got to look a bit closer because, as you know, with the whole pandemic and nonsense, we bought this place sight unseen. As in, we
Hmm.
saw it over FaceTime.
Yeah, but you don't see the details of anything that you want to look at, like,
No.
how close are the windows to be replaced and so on, right? Like, that's just, you won't
I
see
mean, and
that.
they're all still watertight, so it's not that bad, right? Like, they're not, how would you say? It's not like if you don't do it, something's gonna fail. It's not that. It's just like I've never permanently lived in a hurricane area, and I'd really rather not have shit flying through my windows, especially since I have a window here and there, and my computer is here, right?
Just
Yeah, and there's some trees over there on this corner of the house as well. So it's like, yeah, I'd rather not have stuff come through the windows.
yeah, it's not how fast the winds are blowing, but what the winds are blowing.
Yeah. won't be a thrilled strong queen after that.
Oh God! So this is the app thing. Yeah, I made my own avatar, but I had to restart the Chrome because I don't think the Chrome could take the nonsense of it.
Like, what
And
the heck is this? Like, this
I
is
can't even wrap my head around it. Actually, to be
so
honest, like
the
looking at.
thrilled strong queen. By the way, these are sent over from John. So hi, John.
Hey, John, that's
John,
hilarious
you're a
though. Like,
beautiful queen, John.
so you can share your avatars. I
Yeah.
made mine look way different.
Yeah, people here on YouTube, why haven't I seen any of you use this as your YouTube avatar?
Right? Like, I just don't understand what they're trying to communicate with that. Because I saw the new window display that comes for this. I don't get it. I just don't get it. This looks like a poodle with sausages coming out of it and bones. Like, it's weird. It's weird. But it's not like Balenciaga weird, but it's definitely weird.
Yeah, this is John's dong monster.
Like, for God's sakes. I don't understand what they're trying to communicate with that. Am I too old for that? Like, am I really that old for this that I'm not understanding this?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. People in the chat, like, should run a poll. Are we too old for this? Because I'm seriously curious. Like, I just don't get it. Like, are these actors that they had those, ping pong balls all over them and they danced all weird like, and then this was rendered with a whole bunch of nonsense that is uh, adjustable by the 3 sliders you get for mood, nonsense, and other nonsense. I just don't get it, bro.
Wait, I got an ad.
But I guess if KCBR has a point, it's art. But yeah, I guess art is supposed to be provocative in a way, so it like, makes you talk about it. So that's one thing. That's the effect of it. I appreciate that, but I just don't see any logical connection with this and the product lineup that they have currently in their portfolio. I just do not see any tie. Like, to me, are we getting into a video game industry now of some sorts, or is this for metaverse, or what is it for? I just don't get it. So
But is it art?
anything nowadays could be called art, essentially. Like, if this was, I don't know if this was designed by a computer, like an AI, or is this something that it's been
Because this is supposedly my avatar, the carefree fierce shadow knight, which is a sentence in and of itself, right? But how does this flowery thing convey?
I think now it makes sense for you because you drive in a blue Kia, bro. So that's like totally. That's your inner self in America now.
But the best thing about the blue Kia is that everybody's nice to you.
Yeah, for now.
I mean, it's that reverse psychology, right? Like, I mean, it's not like those Audi drivers that have like that old Bluetooth headset and the Oakleys on, and then
I don't have a Bluetooth headset.
Fuck you, buddy! I'm driving here.
I don't do that. I drive very passively now, especially here since losing 3 fucking tires. I drive very passively because it's not that I can't afford, but I don't want to afford more tires.
I mean,
But
I understand it will generate some traffic, I guess, but it's.
I'm just saying, like, for people that are supposed to be the target audience for their product lineup, this is not for them, in my opinion.
No.
It's just weird. Like, this is just weird. Like, I understand, maybe when I was 22 years old at this time, and do some mushrooms and whatnot, and then you go to a BNO's website and you see all this shit. It's like, whoa, that's trippy. What is that? Maybe that's the catch. I don't know, but I just don't understand it. I'm sorry, but to me it's just weird, and for some reason, in my opinion, they should promote more their products than this balloon monster or whatever that is. Like,
Supposedly, it works better if you upload your Spotify account or something.
why are they headless, bro? Okay, this one's got a head. Never mind. The other ones were like, I don't understand it. I'm sorry. I don't know how does that have anything to do with with the speakers or the direction we're going as far as the design. And what is that, man? How many is there?
I don't know. It's generative AI somehow, so I guess there's quite a lot.
Okay, let's keep going. I want to see all of them. This one's weird. I just don't get it.
Yeah, nor do I. It's it's super bizarre.
It is. It's like, I don't know. It's like a liquid metal meets the fabric, and like
Meet stick figures or something. Yeah.
stick figures, yeah, and just bunch of Disney-like weirdness to it.
But I also don't get right, like on a more, how would you say, B&O level. It's like create yours with Spotify, and it's like, but why Spotify? Because Deezer is so integrated.
That was my next question, because when was first I did this thing, I'm like, why Spotify? Like, you guys don't advertise Spotify anywhere other than when you buy a core, you still have that goofy pamphlet in there for Spotify. But we don't play with Spotify on a way that we play with Deezer. Like, there should be Deezer, in my opinion, which its music library is categorized in much more detail than Spotify's is for mood assignments and all that. Because you guys already did the bloody mood assignments with them for the moment. So
Yeah. I really don't understand this at all. Like, what? Like, I sort of get it if this is like the, I don't know, the web developer, the maybe the NFT side of things that just decided to make something and they're unaware because they don't have integrated systems, right? Because they use Spotify and I mean, maybe they stream, but even if you stream, why not attach it to Deezer? Because Deezer are your bros. Like, it's the
like, to
only
me,
thing that's
I'm
built into
automatically
everything.
excluded. I'm automatically excluded from this artistic nonsense because I cannot connect to Spotify account because I don't have one. Actually, I do have one, but it's a free one, and I mostly watch Joe Rogan on it. So based on all the algorithm, what
Same.
that would make, you know what I mean? Like,
Like, you get one of these avatars.
that's right, little solid monster. Like, it's just so weird.
I mean, it's not even that it's not for middle-aged men. It's like it doesn't tie into their standard products in any way.
No,
That's what I kind of don't understand. Like,
I thought first it was very Christmassy when I first saw it. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then, more I looked at it, it's like a train wreck. You just can't turn your head away from it. And it's just, I just don't understand the artistic point that they're trying to come across with it.
yeah, I mean, like KCBR says, like targeting new customer groups, maybe. Yeah, I understand that to a point. But
how does that communicate anything that they're doing?
Yeah.
How is that relatable to BNO in any shape or form? Absolutely any shape or form. Like, there is, to me, this should be on a website that develops video games, or a business that is focused on CGI and animation and video production of any kind. Like, we have nothing in common with that. And I mean nothing now, because we even use LG panels as our TV panels now. So we are completely out of the television game, other than the fact that we interface with it via app. So we're only software compatible. So why is that, or what does that have anything to do with sound, uh, music per se, or any engineering leaps that they had done with whatever they're doing? I just don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, and if you've been, if you are that middle-aged man, you've been with B&O long enough that when they started to have Spotify, like 15 years ago, right? That you had to switch everything over because Spotify kicked B&O off.
Mm-hmm. I went to Deezer.
Yeah.
I remember that. I looked like a dickhead in front of clients. Like, yo, man, you have to just, migrate it all over. So
KCBR says they have those Xbox compatible headphones. Maybe it's something new coming. But they stopped making those and they got out of the gaming space altogether.
yeah. So that just makes no sense, really. So that head looks like the Chupa Chups lollipop. Pretty much. So yeah, I do not. I'm struggling to understand this. Maybe, I don't know. This is completely out of my ability to perceive art as art is on this thing. Yeah, put angry. I fucking angry, man. Go all the way. Slide it all the way. Go angry. Let's go angry face. Angry vegans. Can we do those? There we go. Sweet.
Low energy or a high? Oh, we're
high energy.
We're super angry.
Yeah, dude, make that a supernova. There we go. Sweet. Okay, next.
Angry chaotic. I think that is about you on
on
this show.
Really chaotic and complete. Let's see what that's gonna come out like. It's gonna be red. I'm certain of it.
Okay.
So that's what all maxed out looks like.
The frustrated,
that thing looks evil, though.
3 a.m. raver. That's you, apparently.
that looks like a fucking some evil creature. I don't know, man. I guess angry equals spiky.
No, yeah, you can be put the anger quickly.
My God.
Okay. Does this?
Oh, you can do background change. Okay, cool. What if that thing just crashes your computer on the podcast? Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Yeah, well, then we have something to blame. No, I think you're kind of fluffy at times.
Yeah, there you go. So, but yeah, I don't know what else to do with other than having a little fun with it like this and criticize. It's just so weird. That's so weird.
Yeah,
it almost looks like some sort of not a fossil. What the heck is in the ocean? The coral. This almost reminds me like of a coral of some sorts.
Don't get me wrong. I don't hate you, B&O, for doing this. I just, when you read like Q1, Q3, the financial reports and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is money, but we're not swimming in it. And then you come with this sort of stuff, and it's sort of like, I don't understand how this is budgeted for.
But yet you don't put a blinking volume light on the theater. Like, things that just make sense, that have been around mostly even before the people's times that used to work there, or they do work there now. Because I remember all the TVs in audio mode, they would blink the light as soon as you do the volume.
Look, don't get me
So
wrong. I want you to be swimming in so much money that we can laugh at this sort of weird shit, and
hmm
it doesn't really matter because it's just water off a duck's back, right?
hmm
Like that's exactly the future I want for you because I think more people should buy B&O. But when you've leaned out the company and sort of have to refocus, and then you have these sort of like, unless you tell me straight up front, like it's some weird sort of side project that didn't cost anything because people just did it in their free time. Sure.
don't believe that.
But yeah, that's what I mean. It's hard to believe. Uh, it's I don't know. It's strange.
I don't understand it. I don't like it. Maybe it's way over my head artistically. Maybe I'm just not, you know, accepting of a new vision enough. But I just don't like it. I don't think it communicates anything that this company is about. Period. When it comes from the engineering standpoint, the acoustics, the mechanics, because let's not forget there's still mechanics in this.
Yeah.
So I just don't get it. I don't get it. I think it was a waste of money. I don't know who out of all of us that are here even, you know, would spend time like we did, you know, on it. And anyone have pricing catalog for the US?
It's mostly on the website. Everything
It's
has a
all on the
price.
website.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all on the website, Charles. There might be some things that are hidden, but you probably like BeoLiving Intelligence or whatnot that you have to look for that under accessories, I believe.
90s are hidden to or from
Yeah,
because,
they just say from because it depends.
but that quite literally means it only goes higher.
Yeah, you won't get them cheaper than that. But
uh, so yeah, it's I don't know. Are we too old
let's
for
see.
this? Like 3 people said no. Interesting. So apparently we are maybe not too old, but too old for this anyway.
Probably. But what do you want to know
Um,
about the celestial speakers, my friend? Uh, they sound great, but you need back boxes. And if you're doing it with your designer, then make sure that you don't get fucked by the electrician if you're doing pot lights, because the back boxes do have they're sizable. And I don't know where you're building it, because if it's in North American uh, place, then you got joists to deal with. But I think that the joist width will match with the speakers because it's all done by Origin Acoustics, anyways.
yeah.
Like the only thing you're really paying for is that insanely expensive but very very beautiful front grille cover. But the rest is all yeah, the grill covers for those, I think they're 700 or 800 US per piece.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
They're not cheap at all, man. I'm sure they're not a fun thing to machine out, but they're not cheap. They're not cheap by any measure.
But it is a thick
But
ass
also
piece of
then also
metal.
the costs will add, because if you're looking at that room as a zone, you are going to be now looking into buying an amplifier or BOM 2, and you're buying a core that goes with it as a, you know, instead of what used to be passive kit. But well, passive kit was only always dependent, which this is basically a standalone source.
The fulfilled strong shapeshifter has arrived. Hello.
So so yeah. I bought 77 wings for the theater for 1,525. What PR? What's that money? Is it? It's not dollars, is it? Oh, 1,500 a pair.
Seems about right, if
It
I'm not
seems
mistaken.
about correct. Comparably, that the best amount itself is a highway robbery, in my opinion. But you know what it is, what it is.
Because I think it was like 1100 or something for
Mm-hmm.
in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's they're definitely beautiful grills. Like that's what you're paying for, more or less. But I like that they have 30-day free trial. So are you guys gonna put the freaking drywall back up?
Well, I mean, you can also get the more basic white grills, right? And then the cost of Celestials goes down significantly
Hmm.
because the sort of white metal grills are, first of all, not milled or anything. It's just mesh.
They're just default grills.
Yeah, but they're like 150, 200 or something a grill, whereas
Yeah.
these are like 800, 900 depending on color, but I think it's 800 for the silver ones. So depending on how many speakers you have, right? Like that could, if you have four, that's like nearly $3,000 right there in just grills.
Hmm.
It also depends on is it controlled by TV or is it its own music system? Because then you either won't or will need a core, which is another $1,000.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then installation and God, you name it.
Plus pre-wire, so you need to consider that too, right? You need to have somebody run out there and do that before the
Yeah,
whatever drywall or whatever construction.
will or won't you do back boxes? Because that makes
A huge
big
difference.
on the price, but also on the sound.
Mhm.
Which version of the Celestials will you do? Because there's 3 versions, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you have the basic one. I have to look it up. But they differ in power and backspacing.
Hmm.
Oh, there's 2. No, there is 3. Here. So you have the 6-inch, the 8-inch, and the 10-inch. And within the 8-inch, you have 3 different versions.
Yeah.
So like, just to say it's high, it means Celestials aren't one thing, right? It's a lot of options.
Yes.
If you want this, I could put it in chat, I guess.
Because there's also rectangular ones, right? But that's no, those are palatials.
Yeah,
But
those are the
celestials,
Palatials.
like, yeah, you're looking at different power outputs too. Because I think there's a dual tweeter, or no, yeah, there's one
Yeah,
with the dual tweeter,
which is the
which I think to me is a waste of money because you'll never hear the stereo properly from that, anyways.
no, but it might be nice for restaurants and that sort of thing, right? If you need more disbursement.
Mm-hmm. BeoVox 2.2 are perfect for rear heights because you can also angle them, and they just awesome.
I mean, you can control Celestials with a Beo amp and such too.
Yes. It's more or less about the look, palatial or celestials. Like, do you want a square or do you want a circle? I mean, a rectangle or a circle. That's basically the.
Yeah, but the Palatials are also a much bigger speaker again.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they're also 3-way, but they're then a tweeter 3 or 2 mid ranges and a bass driver.
Yeah. Yeah, they're big speakers. Those are more or less, I would almost go in wall, but
well, they're all in wall, right?
well, I mean, ceiling or in wall.
Oh, like that, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just like that.
It's not even the same speaker.
No. These are basically better than 18s would be power output wise. 50 grand for one room, just fucking get a set of 50s then, bro. Call it a day.
Do Celestials need a back box, Barry asks. Need? No. But
should they? Yes.
Probably. The caveat being is if you have like a European style ceiling, which is stone of some kind, potentially, then the cavity will do, right? But if it's like wooden beams, you could also frame it out yourself and just keep the box shape the same it sits in and put some
acoustic dampening in there.
Yeah, or I mean, even in terms of acoustic dampening, fiberglass insulation does a terrific job. I would seam with like caulking all the joints for air gaps and that sort of thing. But no, not they don't need it for operation. But let's say there's like a fire break, yes. And one section is 4 foot by 16 inches, whatever that is in centimeters. And then the other one is in the same section, but it's 8 foot by 16 inches. Those two speakers are going to sound very different. And that's just because of the back pressure on the other side of the speaker. So essentially what you do with the back boxes is make everything sound the same. So they don't need it for function, but it is better for
It's also acoustics. A question of, is it a retrofit or is it a new installation? Because if it's a new installation, then if you're going to go with it, go with the back boxes. Don't cheap out. If you're going to do it right, then do it fucking right from the gateway or from the get-go, because you're going to hate it afterwards. And if it's a retrofit, then, you're stuck with whatever you're stuck with as far as the holes and gaps are in the, you can somewhat, no, you can't really modify it at all, because there's no switches that you can take the bass down from one side per se. So I would.
The palatials do have some switches on them.
Okay.
I just don't remember, and it's mostly how bass frequency and stuff is handled.
Yeah.
Can I zoom in? Probably.
Do it.
See, there's toggles here on the front.
Yes.
And there too, and that's you can sort of tune them a little bit. But it's obviously easy. You have a much easier time if you have them in a more similar situation. I don't think the Celestials have these switches, though.
I don't think so. We honestly here do a lot of Canton in-ceiling speakers, and they sound really good, to be honest with you, for in-ceiling speaker. And they even, I've done an install where we tied Canton speakers into the theater as other speakers, and it ran from the tuning, and it sounds really good for what it is. So it really depends on where you want to go with it. And like, if I were to spend that much money on in-ceiling speakers, I would more look into the sculptural art of the B&O speakers themselves and buy an actual set of 18s with a 19 for the room. I don't know if your designer's anti-speakers, but out of all the speakers that are on the market, B&O has the most interior design sex appeal that I have seen. So I would if for that amount of cash, I would consider
sets of 28s or 50s.
Yeah, even if you go with the 28s and get a 19 with them to help them out, because they are not going to hold the bass down that well.
Yeah, but compared to a Celestial and two Palatials,
yeah, they're going to definitely rock they're going to rock. They're going to steamroll them for sure. But it's just what do you want to do and how you want to do it, or
I mean, in certain areas it really doesn't work well, right? Like laundry rooms, it's kind of weird to have speakers in unless it's something small that you can wall mount, like an M3 or Beosound 1. But like putting 18s in your laundry room, or
no, well, that's ridiculous, right? But how big is your fucking laundry room? Then is another question.
Apparently, if you're looking at this sort of thing and you get quoted 50 grand, you live in a decent sized place.
So, but yeah, I don't know. There's always solutions for that. Well, you can even hang a freaking, you can stick an Emerge somewhere in between the detergents, for God's sakes, and you have a link room speaker in there. Yeah. And that sounds great for a little laundry room if you're going to go with a BeoLink experience altogether.
Yeah.
Plus, the nice thing is that if you go with the lighting system, then you can tie it all into the Lutron buttons and shit.
I mean, for like turns the first, as you go in. 10 days, I was pondering here of getting some Celestials for near the pool, right? Mm-hmm. But it's sort of like for the amount of effort it costs to put in that roof out there with a core, etc., etc. It's like, I'd rather just buy an A5. It's easier. It saves me.
Charles says his wife doesn't like anything on the floor. I think that you should wall mount the 28s then.
Yeah. Wall mount them. Get
Wall
get
mounted
19s
28s.
and wall mount them. Or 18s and wall mount them.
Yeah. Yeah, you can wall mount to 28s without a problem. Then
You
both of
can
y'all be
hang
happy.
them higher so that you can still vacuum underneath everywhere.
That's right.
Unless you have
Like
a robot.
it's Roomba. But yeah, like that there's always a solution to that in my opinion. And acoustical experience speaking, you will have a better experience from even if the speakers are wall mounted. Just make sure you reinforce the shit out of the wall and there's no loose cables in the wall because they will eventually start singing with the bass.
Yeah.
But that's something that I would recommend because at the end of the day, no matter like I've been around not just BNO, but I've been around these decision processes for so long, and I understand the women's point of view on it. That no speakers and blah blah because they imagine it's going to be these square boxes and whatnot. First of all, second of all, the floor ends up being covered with fucking pots and plants anyways because then they gonna put their thing in there. So there's never gonna be just no floor, empty floor because nobody lives like the the mid 2000s B&O catalog with just like one piece of chair and an area rug and a
Oh,
TV
you
that's not
did.
plugged into shit. Well, okay, never mind. But I don't have a wife to share the chair with, so
Fortunately,
just
mine kind of
saying, like
likes that. But
it's something that yes, I find it I guess it's nonsensical to me from like the woman's perspective of like we don't want anything on the floor, but at the end of the day, the floor is going to always end up busy with something because there's going to be little accent things and shit that's going to come down, and it always happens. And then what happens is the people regret the fact that they should have just done the speakers properly and wire them. If you want to mount them on the wall, poof, you can have the power, everything come out, so there's no cables absolutely showing, and they will look spectacular, they will sound great, and it's not something that like I'm just not a big fan of the in-wall speakers, to be honest with you.
they have their place. I don't mind. But surely, the wife says no floor standing speakers allowed. Has she seen 18s or 28s? They're not big. They're not enormous.
No.
And secondly, like, go 28s and say, honey, I bought you this piece of jewelry for $5,000, and you're still like 25 grand cheaper off.
But yeah, or there's always the solution that I've looked into when I was married, which is you just don't ask for the permission, but you beg for forgiveness later.
How can I make it up for you? $5,000.
Because at the end of the day, it'll grow on her no matter what. That Mac. So I would recommend considering the 28s. You will never regret it, in my opinion. And honestly, you save yourself money because the speakers themselves, even if you're not watching the TV, you can use them as a standalone system for music streaming. So
also, in terms of installing, it's so much easier.
Yeah, so or wall-mounted 18s. 18s are much more elegant than 28s, in my opinion, because of the bass driver. But then again, they suffer a little bit on the bottom end. That's why they would need at least a Beolab 19 if you can't like score a second-hand Beolab 11 in silver.
The tower of 28 is actually a little bit smaller than 8000s. Or 8002s for that matter. So if it's about size, like, you're downsizing
by a height of an acoustic lens, basically.
Yeah, but also in width, right? Because the 8000s are kind of wide.
No, the 18s actually have a wider tube than the 18s. Or I mean, the 8000s and 8002s.
Oh yeah, I know, but like the where the fabric comes out, right? Like the 28s are not as big.
No, the 28's definitely not that big. But I just, that would be my recommendation. Or get I guess you can't put anything on the floor. Shit. Maybe there's something new that's coming out that you can consider to mount on the walls as well.
I wonder how the wife thinks spending 50 grand on 3 in-ceiling speakers is a better idea.
That's my logic too. Like it's
Like you can get her a nice secondhand car somewhere. Like, would you
but not
rather have
even
this
that. Like,
designer handbag or would you have speakers on the floor?
but I would just rather divert that budget into something that I can get more out of than 3 in-wall speakers with back boxes. So at least if you spend that goddamn money on it, might as well make them sound okay. So
Also, if you
that's
ever
just,
move, you can take the floor standing speakers with you. The
or
in-ceilings are
even the
going to
wall
be.
brackets. Yeah, in ceilings are staying, bro. Like that's just you are never gonna see that investment come back with you. Where if you slap the 18s or the 28s on the wall and you decide to move, I don't know where you live, but like in Alberta, where I lived for 23 years, anything that was attached to the wall would stay with the house. So if you detach everything from the walls, including the TVs, you take everything off and you show the home, that's exactly what's going to be in it when they buy it. So, and you have yourself a set of speakers, then you can move to another residence. It takes a little bit of pre-wiring, whatever. You can hire the people for that, whatever area you live in. Hopefully there's somebody there that is cognitive and capable enough to install this properly, like it looks on the picture. And you're laughing. Where these speakers will always keep their value as they are. If not, they're going to go up in value, because every single B&O speaker so far, from the date of introduction to the current production date, had gone up at least 20% in value. These were not what they are now when they first came out. So
I
just
could have sold my 18s in the Netherlands for the same amount I got them for, and here in the US I can sell them for more than what I paid for them at the time.
exactly. So I think your wife should also look at it from that logic and perspective, that this makes more sense long term wise, because once you fall in love with the B&O system and speakers, it's really hard to replace it with anything else, because nothing has that sound, nothing has that look, and it changes the presentation of the house. That's and just it fits into the decor. It makes everything more elegant. What makes this fucking entire studio of mine elegant is this television, honestly, because it just elevates it. Like it looks beautiful no matter what you and how you skin the cat, even with the 18s. It's a completely different thing than having this black stand over here with like an LG panel on their goofy ass little thing, and have a stage sitting on beside it. You know what I'm saying? So there's that.
No, we
So
don't do Balenciaga here anymore.
yeah, I know. Nice try, Gerard. Trying to get me off my hinges and shit. We're good. We're good. So yeah, I would honestly like have that talk with your wife on that, and fucking talk to the designer without your wife. That would be also a very good recommendation that I have, because I don't know if it's a him, her, or them, they, she, her, whatever the fuck. Uh, I would definitely speak with them and just and have them ascertain that thought process as well. That like this is what I'm paying for, and it's just gonna stay in the house. Like, what's the point? I'm sure that all the artwork that you guys are putting in there, it's something that, even though uh, maybe you're bringing it with you, but you're bringing it from another house. Or if you're buying something for the house, you're probably going to end up taking it with you. Depends on how much money you had spent on it. So to me, that's just the same value proposition, that if you're buying a B&O system, you're not just buying something that it's ugly to look at, and it's dated in 5 years. Like, oh my God, is that, what are these speakers? What year they're from? Where 18s are pulling on fucking 10 years, man, in production, and they don't look it. They don't look it at all.
No,
So
not at all. But also, if
not
you're
a
coming from
single bit,
8002s, 18s are a nice upgrade.
acoustically and visually as well.
Yeah.
They're much more visually pleasing. Where, yes, I would say now 18s versus the 8000s. The 8000s do look dated. 8000s do as well. It's just a difference. It's a stupid little light thing. But I would honestly, Charles, I would speak with both them and just like play him this clip from the podcast. Fuck, I don't care. Just this is the argument that there is, And if you're buying for longevity, I would honestly go with something that is more tangible as far as, put them on the walls or something. But I wouldn't invest that much money into in wall speakers if you're not willing to live in that house for at least 10, 15 years to get at least some amortized value out of that much money. Also, the screens are getting larger and larger. Say in 5 years from now, you're gonna go with the 98 inch because it's on fucking sale on Black Friday for $4,000, and it used to be 40. Nowadays it is.
Yeah.
So now you decide to buy a bigger screen. You're hooked because now the speakers are covered by the screen panel itself. Where, if you have wall-mounted 18s, it's not really that much of a tragedy to just repoke the holes and tape a little bit. Where if you're doing the speakers on the side of the wall, then, well, what if you don't have enough space from the sides anymore to fit the speakers in? Then you're screwed. Then you can't afford to have that panel. So to me, that's another limitation that comes with natively, I guess, mounting something on the wall. It's the same gamble people play when they decide to build around a certain, even a B&O TV millwork, right? Like BeoVision 10s. How many of those I fucking recessed into the bloody bookshelves and whatever? Everything's built in perfectly. Yes, it died at some point 10 years later, but it died at the point where they were almost ready to renovate the place anyhow. Or they did. I've seen a few that we've replaced it with a contour. Yes, you lost the master link, boo freaking who. But you can still link the contour with the rest of the system in the house if you have a core, or, if you move up. So, there's still an option and a way out, I guess. So
If you're okay
that's
with
just my
spending
2 cents.
50 grand, just get 50s because she won't be able to move them anyway.
Well, she won't. So yeah, but that's my opinion. Honestly, I would and my argument to it is just consider the value proposition, uh, and how much you can amortize the value over time versus having like I said, beautiful speaker grills. But to me, that shit is for like the yachts, bro. You know what I mean? Stick them in the yacht, nice, beautiful. It's already millions of dollars anyways. Who cares? But something in the house that and for a fact they're not going to go anywhere from the yacht because you can't really put 18s in there and put them in the rough seas and shit. Be freaking like a bowling pins all over the place. Yeah, so that ain't happening. But I would honestly entertain the idea of bringing this point of view as an argument to do something that is a little more beautiful. So.
Yeah, BV9s are great TVs, and
they're tanks. They're
Yeah.
absolute tanks. Like that TV is an absolute tank. I still love the look of it. It is massive, and also it puts out a lot of heat, which is great in the winter. But it's still 125 kilos to move in and out of the house. It's a lot of laughs. Plus, if you have a Beo system or BeoMaster 5 built inside it, it's a little more weight too. So,
yeah,
but yeah, if you're replacing I've had a client that went from a BV9 to a Theater 55 because they had a 50-inch, BV9 was a 50-inch TV, and they're like, oh, there's no way it'll fit. As soon as I put it together, I looked at him like, I think we have a problem here. He's like, what? Like, you should have gone with the 65. So, and he's like, yeah, we should go with the 65. I packed the TV back, went back to the warehouse, brought 65 inch, and just ordered the wings. So that's the thing. If you go with the 77, I don't know. I would go on the floor stand, man. I would just if you can't afford to fit it there, I would go with a 65 inch on the floor stand instead of the BV9. That replaces it perfectly. So.
How do you guys move 18s with the floor stand? I'm always a bit worried.
You grab it by the bottom and basically hold it like a baby. You don't grab it by the grills, but you lean the aluminum part into your other hand and you pick it up and you carry it. And then you obviously watch the fucking door frames with the lens.
Yeah. The aluminium is actually stronger than you think it is, but that's for short distances. If you want to move them a long way, you take the foot off.
Yes. Yeah, if you're if you just move them around in the house, then yeah, just grab them like that. Like I move them like that around the showroom, but I prefer to take the lamellas off. I need to unplug them, and I don't like to just yank the cable, even though you can. But if there's a PL wire
Ooh,
going in, so it's
no,
an
no, 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 no,
RJ45.
no, no. You take the lamellas
So
off for that.
you take the lamellas off and you do it right, do it proper, and then you also have less risk to damaging the wood or having the two magnet ones fall off and get dented and so on. So it's easier to do it. I just do it right, and quite honestly, like I uh, embedded that in Nicholas when we first started working together, and he still is to this day going by it. It doesn't matter how good of a job you do, is what dents you left that they will remember you by. So if you don't leave any, it's just a good job you've done.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents on moving them. Definitely take the grills off.
There's a piece of plastic between the aluminium and the stand.
There's a little washer there, I believe, but not.
I don't think that's plastic, though, is it?
There's a metal washer on the bottom of the stand. So
Yeah.
and that goofy screw, you need that special B&O breakaway screwdriver. I highly recommend just take a set of needle nose pliers and take your time unscrewing it. Lay the speaker down, preferably on a couch or a bed, and or at least put it on so the lens is on the pillow, and just unscrew it that way if you need to move them. So
Yeah, the pliers work. For Charles, if you're looking at the terms of floor space, right? Like this is just not even an enormous lamp, and the foot is about the same as like a lamp is on 28s.
yeah, they're not big. They're a little bit bigger than the footprint of the 18 on a floor stand. But then again, they just look a little more chubbier because it's a conical shape instead of just having that little platform that the speaker basically comes out of.
But
So,
compared to an 8000 with that chunky brick of a foot,
oh yeah, that's that's
it's
completely
give or
two different
take.
looks. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
I like this more personally.
I think you should consider
I mean, to me,
consider
the
having a
ugliest part of
conversation.
the 8000s was actually the foot.
Hmm.
Because it's you can
But that's what
literally build
really
a house
dated
with
the
those
speaker.
bricks.
Yeah, but that's what really almost more or less, in my opinion, dated that speaker as well. The thick ass foot. You can even make it bigger if you want to do the what is it, the covers that Prestige does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a big foot.
So
Thinking of hooking up the BeoLab 11 into the theater.
again?
Yeah, well, I need to reset the thing anyways because I got those Ghost Phantom freaking speaker presets that are there that are not in the app. They never gone away, so I need to just. I wish there was a way to just delete all the speaker presets without resetting it. Because even if I delete all the speaker presets, I can't delete the ones that are ghosted in the theater.
And you can't swipe on them. You can't.
No, they don't exist. Literally, they do not exist. So apparently that was supposed to be fixed in a software update as well. That they were going to fix the bug of that happening in the remotes. But I factory reset the remote, actually unpaired them all and repaired them back in, and it still came back. It just downloads from the theater. So if the theater has that in there, then the remotes will get it. So, but yeah.
I'm just trying to look to actually. Oh yeah, I have them here in an old Instagram post. If you want to see how 18s look on wall brackets in real life.
Mm-hmm.
This is when I got rid of the Harmony.
I know. I see the Harmonies on the service gates. I'm like, that's not what it used to be. But it still looks good on the wall, even that low. Like you can go a little bit higher if you wanted to, but yeah, it's that speaker looks like it's floating, man. And that bracket is surprisingly sturdy. Yeah, and it's surprisingly sturdy. Like if you accidentally shoulder bump it or whatever. The plastic power cords, I bought a whole bunch of the B&O. They come with the A9. You can order them from the dealer or your dealer. They come in black or white, and that's what I have. My 18s are running the those nicer power cords. It's basically the same quality or same weave or similar weave to that USB-C cable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they look great. They catch a little more length than the plastic ones. I tell you that right now. But other than that, they look
That's kind of
beautiful.
why I'll stay with the plastic ones, because I like to literally clean the cord every so often.
You can also, I don't remember seeing them anymore in the parts catalog on our internal website, but I remember back in the day that B&O used to have a part number for 1.5 meter and 3 meter white power cords, and they used to have gray power cords as well. So, because I used to carry those in my mains connections bin when I was doing the installs in Calgary. So here there's a little more savage approach to the power management.
I mean, now that I live in the land of paper walls, I can finally do cord management properly.
Yeah, you
So,
can make it look like it's in a catalog. You can have everything disappear.
so I don't even essentially want the fabric thing, because it's mostly be in wall anyway,
Mm-hmm.
or so short that it kind of doesn't matter.
Well, but you know what? If you don't have the option like of doing that, let's say you're using them as the rear channels, and the only thing you have is an in-floor plug under your couch type of thing, then it's still nicer to have a plastic. I mean, not a plastic, but a textile weaved cable going in than just a regular boring ass power cord. But if you're putting it in the wall, then that's just a sacrilege. And also, it's easier to splice. I mean, shorten down the plastic cords, because you can just buy those
Yeah,
power plugs from Home Depot and
I just need a
keep
sharper
it,
knife.
or that. But yeah, that's what I would recommend. Yeah, the 50s are beautiful in the Mercedes grill. And that's one of the very few pictures that you can't see the drivers with the camera, because usually camera will catch whatever your eyes are incapable of doing.
Well, it was a bit of a hard thing when taking this picture, because you sort of go, I see driver. I don't want to see driver. There.
That's funny. But yeah. So other than that, I got no complaints when it comes to the software for the theater. There's a couple of weird bugs still every now and then that happen, but it's less and less now, which I like. But I wanna play with
By the way,
the subwoofer.
Barry, you could also do this if you want to replace a BV9.
Yeah, that looks sick.
Depending on how your interior is and such.
Hmm. That's one of my favorite placements of the theater. I think the theater's price has bumped up yet, or now already. Let's see.
Not sure. Could be. Wouldn't be surprised though.
Yeah, it's 10,490, and I think it was 9,500 when it first came out, or 9,000. And with natural oak, it's almost 12 grand Canadian.
I have to look in them out, because at the time I obviously only knew euro prices, and even in the eurozone they change a bit depending on VAT and stuff. But it could. I think the actually thinking of it now, I think the core of the theater had a price bump, but the wings didn't, and nor did the covers. but it was one of these weird price bumps where it was like 100 and something euro, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 200. Where it's just like, wait, so this is a weird 3% price bump or something like that? Or maybe now they've done the front as well, but it's different for dealers than it is for you as a customer, because dealers essentially see everything they have to order as a price, and we only see the total price.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Getting a tax back is always a good thing.
That's good. Whatever money you can save, it's good. Yeah, see, UK base price went 7 to 8% a couple of months ago. Yeah, because it went up here. I noticed that it's gone up in price. It always does, man. It always does.
I mean, it was the same weirdness for the 90s, right? Because somehow at 103,000 euro, they weren't expensive enough. So they went to 105, but the sales in aluminium was still the same. Just the chassis went up or something. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, it makes no sense sometimes how they do that pricing increasing.
Yeah, they make it kind of hard over time. It's strange.
But it's still, when you jump on board, I guess it's a double-edged sword, in my opinion, as well, because if you want to save money, then you suffer the pains of early adoption because it doesn't work right. There's always quirks with it. There's this and that, so, or you wait a year till the product is solid and then you pay
10 to 15% more.
research tax.
Well, I mean, it depends on what it is. Actually, it took quite a long time for the theater to get bumped because there were two other price increases that the theater didn't partake in.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was the same for the 28s for the first 9 months or so, because other stuff went up.
Yeah, they
So
left them as they were.
it depends a bit on launch date and those sort of things. Most likely, whatever will launch in August, September time frame won't get the price bump that we expect to be there in December time frame because it's too new.
I don't think they're even going to go like in March, because that's another price increase. Usually is in March, right? I guess in the beginning of the spring.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would. It's just, yeah, like even the 18s, man. They are up by what, at least $3,000 now at this point, from what they were released like or launched.
I think they were 4,500 at launch, and now they're like 8,000 or 9,000 euro.
So yeah, they went up almost double over the 10 years.
Yeah.
So
when did they come out? 2014, right?
BeoLab 11 or BeoLab
No,
18,
yeah.
2012, 12 or 11. 2014 is when Avant came out. So
no, it was CES 2014. So 2013 then.
okay, 2013. So yeah, 10 years this year.
Let's see.
I don't have my old price list here because those are on my old computer that is in Calgary. I could tell you exactly what they were like or what they costed when they were first launched.
So let's see. This will probably mention a price at some point.
They know that they were sold bare, and then you had to buy the lamellas extra because they even had the maple ones at the time, which was the only product that had the maple lamellas.
So in dollars, there were $6,590 for a pair. And with the Oak Lamellas, it was $7,980. What are they now in the US? Let's see. They start at 9.5 grand.
See,
but if you look at the regular oak ones, it's 11.
Yeah, because then you either get with the plastic ones or wood.
So they're up $4,000
in 10 years.
But they were already way more expensive in the US at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just goes to say that this makes more sense in going back to Charles than in ceiling speakers. You will never get those for, those will never rise in value as much as these go, or any B&O speakers that are standalone or freestanding per se.
No, for sure, no.
Max says it outpaces the inflation by $1,000.
Yeah.
But
let's see, is there a euro price? Because we're already paying with euros. I blame the euro for everything. Ever since we had the euro, everything went up by
by a little bit.
Yeah. So at launch, the 18s were €4,790, and an oak front set was 1,000. So 990. So it's €5,780 when new. I mean, that is some crazy inflation. Let's see, what is it now in the Netherlands? Where are you? So 8,500. So it's €3,000 up. Crazy.
Yeah, the theater is going to go up. I wouldn't be surprised in, let's say, 5 years, because this is not going to go away anytime soon. I wouldn't be surprised if it's around $13,500.
Canadian, you mean, right?
US. I think it's going to go up. Like, if with the grill, with the oak grill, I see it going to 13.5.
Wait, with or without panel?
No, without the panel. So right now it's what is it in US dollars? Let me just switch my site.
Well, it's essentially $8,500 for 65-inch. It's 8,000 for, and that's including the oak front.
Yeah.
I can switch regions again.
See, with the TV, it's 15,100, but it's a 55-inch panel, right? It depends on what panel you go with, because most of these things are rendered with the C2, which is nonsense. You should go definitely with the G3. And yeah.
So it's
then again, then you're putting a
9,200 or so with 65-inch, as is with oak. So if that goes to over 10, that's going to be a massive price increase.
No, I'm not saying like right away. I'm thinking just over the next few years with the price increases going up. I think we're going to be hovering around 13, maybe 12,500 for the theater alone, US. I really think so.
I surely hope not, because how many are you going to sell at that price?
They're selling still.
Sure, but like, this is the gateway into everything else. Like, this needs to be somewhat affordable that you can expand, and that it makes sense to expand, right?
Well,
I
it's
mean,
gonna make
because the
sense. That's
theater
right.
from here on in is going to be the platform where you get all your other sales from, essentially.
We've done a lot of standalone theaters. People just bought them. They were looking for a soundbar, and boom, walked home with a fucking 65-inch G2 and a theater.
Oh,
So
I nearly thought you meant as like just a theater, as in like a boat that makes
no,
noise.
no. They just literally. A lot of people do that. There are people that have existing speakers. Some of them are more or less upgrading from, let's say, the old Avants, which the freaking panels just dying, right? The video engines died for the second time. They're like, I'm not spending another $4,000 to get this fixed. So then, there's some sort of like not a fairness exchange, but there's a fairness program that you can run with B&O. So they can discount the theater a little bit for them. So then it's not as tragic to move, and you can have your old speakers still tied into it, which is great. So
It's a lot of places use dollars, and
mhm.
the only actual dollar that's worth anything is the US one, and then you have Canada and dollary dues in Australia, and it's always like it's 1 to what 3 or
I have no
1.3
idea.
for Canada, and for Australia it's
Yeah.
1 to 1.6 or something.
Oh yeah. Uh, can you believe that the freaking black anthracite emerges back online? It's for sale.
Sorry, which one?
The Emerge anthracite Emerge came out. They discontinued it, and now it's recontinued.
I guess they figured out the supply chain for it.
I guess so. So I'm gonna sell mine because it's not as unique anymore. Shit.
Seriously?
No. I love the sound of it. I'm really thinking of just slitting my wrists on a bespoke panels for it and just get the oak panels made. They can bend the oak. I mean walnuts. Sorry, if they can do the oak, they can do the walnuts.
I mean, $700 or $800. It's like,
Hmm.
God, man. I'm not spending that on this. No way.
What on the black?
On either of them. Like, this is
Sounds
so
great.
expensive at low volumes, but I'd rather buy like just about anything else.
For bathrooms, bro, can't go wrong. Super thin profile sounds great, especially like when you're in the shower, it still pumps good. That's all I would listen to it for, or I wouldn't make this like my living room speaker or have him joined in stereo as my primary system. That's a secondary room, guest room, and bathroom. That's how I see that speaker be.
Flores asked, just a quick question. How did Wyser stand up to PowerLink on the BeoLab 18? I bought them recently as the left and right with the theater. Fine.
There's
Uh,
no acoustical difference because the 18s are not capable of going to precision levels like the, let's say, 50s or 90s go. So other than if you have some interference that they drop out, there is no difference in listening.
I would say, though, if you bought your BeoLab 18 second hand, it is very possible that they're older and have older Wyser software on there.
Yes.
So I would say in that case, go to a dealer or have a dealer come over and install the new software. Because
And unfortunately, the latest software that you can install has to be done through the wireless transmitter because it is not in the service tool. So you have to put the USB stick into the wireless transmitter, power up one speaker, pair it to it, let it run its course, unplug it, plug the other one in, pair it into it, run the software update course.
if you just bought a theater at a dealer, quite often they'll do it as a courtesy.
So
Just saying, but like they could charge you technically because it is a service provided. But maybe it helps if you say, "Hey, I'm coming to you." But if your 18s are brand new, right? They should have the newest, latest WISA version on it already. So
yes.
Just an FYI, because like my 18s are 2013 ones, so launch ones.
Hmm.
And I mean, my dealer over time has updated them. I do think, though, at the moment, I'm one software version behind. But then it never really mattered. Because,
I don't know how many software versions I'm behind because I've had these speakers for a while. As far as the 18s are concerned, I've never had an issue pairing them into the theater. I've never seen them drop out here, and I'm in a very dense Wi-Fi spot where there's one of those goofy repeaters, which is behind the BeoLab 11. It's on every single unit or in every single unit here.
yeah.
And below and not above, thankfully, but there's below me. So there's a lot of Wi-Fi here. I never had them drop out once.
Yeah, but there is a whole dead spot in the 5 gigahertz spectrum channels that is a thing in North America that isn't a thing in Europe.
Oh.
Like there's
like that where
channels
they float
115
here,
to like I think 135 or something here are dead. Like there's nothing in them by FCC rules, and in Europe there is. So
you can't update them from the website, bro. You gotta have it connected to the transmitter.
The only reason I'm saying this, right? Like when the last time my 18s were updated, the WISA software on them was still from 2013 or 2014 or whatever, which was the shitty version. But I always had them wired, so it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Well, so, if you have them power linked in, and then the wireless modules are completely turned off.
Yeah. So it was never an issue, though. I must say, when I started tuning my network, if you limit if you stabilize your home internal network to one channel, like figure out a channel that is mostly empty, make your 5 gigahertz sit in only that channel, make it not bounce around, your WISA will appreciate that. And that kind of solved most of my WISA issues I had.
If you have an option to go with PowerLink, that is an absolute no-brainer. Yes. Just go wire that shit in, bro. If you start facing the limitations like Mikey has, which is all 4 sockets, all 4 sockets occupied, then you might come to a problem where you do have to go wireless with some of it. But yeah, if you're able to do it, you can go one power link out from the theater and then split them into both with the RJ45 splitter for PL, and yeah, just power link them, dude. It also prolongs the life of the speaker when it comes to the WISA deal, because then there is a lot more heat produced inside the speaker because of the WISA modules. Our antennas are on, and I did measure them. I do have somewhere in my Dropbox back in the day when I had no rhyme and reason to, but I went to the tools store and I always would buy some stupid shit. So I ended up buying a Milwaukee heat gun, like the actual heat gun, so you can take pictures and see. And I took scans of like the 90s, the 17s at the time, 18s, the BeoVision 14, whatever I had my hands on. I looked like to see where the heat outputs are, and where the antennas are on the 17s, they are always warm. So if you have them, and they're always broadcasting because they don't know otherwise when they're supposed to turn on. So they always talk back, and theater always talks back to them. So there's a constant connection. But if you power link them, then it's just when that 5 volts is present on the line, they fire up and they're solid as rock. So
yeah, the best advice I ever got is go into your router and make your 5 gigahertz band static.
Put it to the narrow bandwidth mode, not wide, because then you're covering more channels that are interfering with your WISAs.
find a channel that is mostly empty, preferably below 65. Make it static, and your WiSA will basically be perfect.
Yeah.
Because so what happens, right? If there's a lot of interference from neighbors or whatever, your router usually does a sweep, and it usually, like old-fashioned car radios, right? Like if it searches for a station, it just goes from where it is to the end and then starts again. So it sweeps over your WiSA, which means that you get the interference, which means that then the speaker and or theater/harmony also start doing this sweep, and that's where you get the dropout, which is really annoying. But so get your 5 gigahertz, make it static, which helps a lot. And it doesn't actually impact speed if you pick the correct channel.
Mm-hmm. So, but if you can do it, I would do it wired no matter what. I always tell clients to just get it wired if you can. If not, then too bad. But you'll never have issues if you go wired.
No. Does WiSA get affected by marine radar like 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi on higher channels? If it's maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. That's
So, Flores has a question there. Since you both have theaters, do you also know of some problems with the vibration of the front panel? Now, I had put together or installed rather, over 30 theaters. I'm certain of it, if not more. The solution that I had worked out with our showroom model to put the Tessa tape in strategic spots where things join together, and even though they're screwed tight and whatever, there is a possibility of resonance. And I pad that with the Tessa tape. Absolutely zero vibrations. The only vibrations that we have in our system or the theater per se, as it is, it's inside of the LG panel, and for me, it's on the right hand side. I don't know what the f is in there, but for me, in order to stop it, I'd have to just take off the back. I'd have to take the TV down, unscrew the back panel, and then just put little foam pads offset so they push against the panel so they don't rattle it. But
no.
this is,
You know how you do it? You get your wood drill out, you drill a hole, and you put self-expanding foam in the back.
oh fuck, yeah, don't try this at home, kids.
And then just go like, I hope I didn't short anything. I hope I didn't short anything.
You gotta wait till it dries. Fudge. But yeah, see, like this is the details what I'm talking about in the wings and also on the back of those the covers for the wall bracket.
Wait, the vibrations come from the fabric front itself. When I take it off, the front vibrations go away. Interesting. I don't think
I have seen that. Yeah, I've seen that in ours. What you need to do, or what I had done, sorry, is I think we got pictures of it too, but I don't think there's pictures of it. See, I actually padded all the wood lamellas because OCD was real at the time. But what I did for either a fabric grill or a wood grill, there are certain spots in between you have 2 top pegs and 2 bottom pegs in the center. Put a little square of I bought a centimeter wide by centimeter tall or thick window sealing tape. It's a foam tape, and I've cut little squares, and I actually put them also on the back of the plastic panel, exactly what's on the picture right now on the screen. You can cut those in different lengths because I bought the whole roll, and this mitigates all the rattling from all the cables that you have spooled up in the back of the VESA mount, and it also limits the potential of this thing rattling as well. So there are a few things that you can do to remedy that, and unfortunately, it's not out of the box. Still, they haven't really implemented any of those changes, really. But it does make a difference when you do it this way. Also, if you're padding it putting it on a table stand or the wall bracket that is included, I would also do the Tessa tape on where the contact points are.
Yeah, it's not good.
Also, when it comes to the wood lamellas, sorry, Mikey. When it comes to the wood lamellas, what I had noticed here is I don't think this is humid enough of a city here, because we've had like these lamellas became loose, and I didn't understand why, but essentially when they come out of the factory, the humidity levels are completely different than what they are here, and the wood shrinks and subsequently becomes loose within those brackets. It won't fall out because there's a clip retainer that holds it on the top piece, but they will start to sink with those, and especially it's the lamellas that are within the region of the front of the woofers.
Mhm.
Those have the most, those get the most affected. There's obviously the most air moves out of there. I realized that when we had one grill that came in and it was not mangled, but come on, guys, the packaging for those lamellas, for how much you charge for those grills, it's fucking insufficient, man. It needs to be a thicker box. So I went and I got Kareem to order two 10-pack bags of the wood lamellas to replace all 14 that were busted. And boy, I had a hard time putting them on, man.
The
Like they
bigger.
literally just no, they were swollen up because they were wet.
Yeah.
They were still fresh, but over time they will dry up and they will start to rattle a little bit. That's why I put the tester tape on the back of those lamellas. It's a pain in the ass to take them out. You got to be careful. It's doable, of course, other than the last three on each side, which are glued, so you don't have that issue.
Yeah. I mean,
But
the wood will get in most places, especially in the Netherlands. The wood is fine. The Netherlands is way more humid than Canada is,
yes,
so it doesn't shrink as much, and it's fine. But still, a lot of these things should be a non-issue from factory, one would say.
yes. So even on the back of the Vesta mount, you see those little squares there. That was all. Those were all those little window foam seal that I taped on. But yeah, that's yeah, all these little guys. That all stops the vibration because that's the goofy helix box, and you see how you have the power cords and everything else is tied in there, HDMI and all that nonsense. So only thing I don't like about this whole deal is there should have been a thought, or at least there should have been a cable adapter that is region based, that you can just have one cable that goes into the theater, just like in the old Beolab 2500s with the Beosound 3000 or whatever, and should be another one that splits out into the TV, because the TV is only 1.5 meters and it's a big limiter.
Hmm.
There should be a cable, there should be something, because like, yes, you can put in a power bar, blah blah, but then you're all of a sudden you're limited by the length of the power bar if you can't extend it long enough, right? So there's always these headachy issues about the power management limitations with the stupid panel. But other than that, it's you know, I really like the system and the concept, because now this system is impervious to change, essentially. The only thing that you would need to change, I guess, is if you take a different display, then you change the wings. But other than that, you're a happy camper, in my opinion. So that's my findings being around theaters for, since they obviously launched, and what came wrong with them. Definitely, if you get a C2 panel mounted on the VESA mount, you are in a world of trouble, because that panel itself is built very cheaply, and a lot of the boards inside, like, you know, they're obviously fastened to the display chassis, but the back cabinet is just an atrocity. It always
Vibrates like
vibrates
crazy.
like there is nobody's
It
business, and it
just
sucks.
flops.
Yeah, so you can see the boards dancing with it. So yeah, that's something that
I think
if you're
you can tell. I mean, God, it feels like forever ago, but it kind of isn't. But the theater is really a product of its time of design, which was Corona/COVID, because you
Mhm.
had all these weird things where, like, the two teams, like the design team and the people that make it, right? Like, they couldn't meet. They could only meet on like the German side of the Danish border, and then they
Hmm.
couldn't be in the same room, although they could be in the same room after one another. But then they had to organize how to meet because the Danes could only be in Denmark for like 10 hours on end. And then would have to be over the border again. So it was a sort of weird game of tag while designing it all.
Hmm.
So
But
yeah, I think that's also where these weird rattle oversights came from.
I don't think that they listened to it. If they did listen to it, they listened to it without the panel being attached in the tuning room, I guess, or how they were testing it. Because when I first, before Christmas, I got the theater only, and I was waiting for the panel because it wasn't in stock. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm putting it together, right?
Mm.
And even when I had the theater just sitting on the desk, absolutely zero vibration, and I had it fucking loud in here because I didn't realize it was Christmas, and I'm in a building where 90% of the people here, if not 100, is students. So everybody was gone for Christmas holidays. I was the only one on my floor. So I just, oh, bro, I just gave her shit. Like I don't think there was a day that I went below 75 on the volume knob on the theater. So I've tested the piss out of it, and then I put the panel on it. I'm like, ooh, vibrates. So I, read it all the whatever I could, but it's still, yeah. When you watch movies, it's not really, it's more apparent than music, because you do always have that subtone bass roll, right? When something's
Mm.
about to go down, and all of a sudden, zzz, zzz, I'm like, ah, shit. But it's not tragic as what it used to be when we first started interacting with these theaters, or with this product altogether.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of older products, I've actually gotten a chance to fall in love again with my A1 because it's quite literally the only thing I have.
it's a great
Besides
speaker.
headphones, but it's sometimes you don't want it like on your head, like you just want to be
Hmm.
around it. Played some music. I mean, it's still the best. I found a way to make it sound the best, and it's hung on a doorknob where it's suspended by the
Hmm.
little strap in free air. Because if you put it on anything with a lot of bass, it sort of starts
It
to.
starts to dance. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
yeah, I mean, I really like my A1. And it's. I mean, it's the Mark One, so I had to take some bass out, which makes it sound a lot better. But it's better than I remember it because I haven't touched it in ages because there was never a need to, right?
hmm but
Uh,
yeah, Mike has got the eyeball on the A5.
oh, I will buy one at some point. I just haven't
It
gotten
is an awesome
around to
speaker.
it. I mean, it's also depending on a few things. I will most likely buy it in the Netherlands still.
Mm.
If I will do so, then I'm not gonna have everything separately shipped, mostly.
Hmm.
But then it's kind of like I have to decide what all do I want. Because that list can quite quickly go out of control.
Yep. It always does with B&O, even though they don't have much in the portfolio, it's still a lot.
I mean, I would still very much like a floor stand for the theater itself. I mean,
Hmm.
I would like I like my own idea of having a big ass panel wall mounted and the theater below it on the floor stand by itself, no VESA mount, and just still being able to do that. Because with 83-inch panels and above, you really don't need the panel to move because they're so enormous. But it is
Yes.
kind of nice when the sound moves with you if you sit in different places.
Hmm. And on the theater, it does make a huge difference, because that coaxial tweeter, it really is, it's very accurate.
Yeah.
Very, very accurate. But I still don't trust the tuning of the microphone on its own. I still go and correct everything. You have to. So, but Yeah, one thing that I haven't done yet, which I'm dreading also, is tuning the 50s or 90s with the theater microphone through the adapter, because there's no longer proper microphones for BLAB 50s and 90s anymore in production.
Well, you can always change or do what you would call it, A/B testing. I kind of feel like doing that.
Yeah, I need to get one. I need to get one ordered,
I mean, I'm
because we just
just
need the conversion cable.
because they are 100% identical otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can also buy the mic with the RJ45 plug on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they are identical. If so, then I may I'll have to figure out, because that conversion cable is going to be some silly price because it's B&O.
Nah, it's not gonna be that bad. Oh, digging around the BOIs here, the no network connection at startup, which is exactly my problem with this TV, where it's not the theater. Theater is always online. The affected products are Contour, Stage, Theater, Harmony, Eclipse, Generation 1, I mean 2 and 3. Resolution status 30th of June 2023. LG will start a 1-month phase rollout of the new software to all C, G, and Z panels series from 2021, 22, and 23, beginning mid-July, which is expected to solve this issue. Finally, it took you fucking months. Once the LG TV is updated with the new software, ensured that the Quick Start Plus and TV on mobile settings are enabled.
Yeah, LG knew about this months ago, and
I know, I just can't believe that they haven't done anything about it for so goddamn long. Like, what is it, the EU nonsense with the fucking power consumption communism, or?
no, well, partially probably, but it's also it's to them it's last year's panel, right? Like
Yeah, but piss off, it's doing it on the G3 too.
oh really?
Yeah, the only one that we don't have hardwired.
Enjoy Netflix on the theater floors.
There you go, man. What were those settings? Those settings were Quick Start Plus. Make sure that that's on, and TV on with mobile settings. Which, if you want to see where that is,
By the way, guys, if you suggest buying a different mic, it's which it'll probably have the same issue, right? Because like surely the calibration is tuned for a microphone between 50s and 90s and whatever. So unless there was a software update for 50s and 90s where it can be one or the other, because even reference microphones have a frequency response curve. I mean, it should be fairly flat, but it's never fully flat.
So now everything works. So let's go here. Settings. And then we go to, it's under general, I believe. System. I think it's additional settings. I forget where now. So Live Plus. I think there's a home auto launch. I don't have any of that nonsense turned on. Where the is the? It's not in here. Devices, TV management, Quick Start Plus. So I'll turn it back on. And what was the other one? The other one was that's gonna be, I think, here.
TV on and with mobile.
Why did that default off? That's insane. The last software update reset it because I know I had that on. So that's basically all the settings that that you need to have turned on, and then we'll see. I'm gonna have this powered off. We're already done anyways, so I'll see later on if it's gonna work for me or not.
So, but you don't have the LG update yet.
Original BLab Night mic was Behringer. No, I don't. But I'll just. I don't know why it turned off for the last software update. I had it enabled.
strange.
Yeah, I don't understand why it defaulted back to off, because I did have it enabled. So for some reason, yeah, just decided to not to do that. So I'll watch and see what happens, because by now, I got a few more minutes here if you want. If I go back to YouTube, then network should be connected now. I think it'll hold it for like 10 minutes and then it just cuts off. But we will see in a second if the splash screen comes up, or I'm going to have to go back to the network settings. Or nothing happens.
The Behringer 8000 is for sure slightly different looking than the B&O mic.
Do you have? Oh yeah. Maybe it's the internals.
Yeah. But surely if you mess around with the tubes, right, it changes stuff, especially when it needs to be pretty flat.
Yeah. Now it doesn't turn on the panel. Not back that. So.
Also, it seems like this Behringer has needs phantom power.
So it's on right away. Yeah, it retains for now.
Sweet.
We'll see tomorrow or in an hour or so. But yeah, hopefully you guys learned something from this today. And Charles, yeah, talk to your designer, bro.
It was modded for a single cable, not XLR. Yeah, but that's weird, right? Because electrically, XLR gives what 48 volts or something. Phantom power. It gives like that. That is the power supply as well. XLR quite often. So, like, where does the power come from? Because that's quite a, for something that is a measuring tool, quite a big difference.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you can find one, I have one, so I'm not that worried. But I will.
So do I.
I will A/B test it. I want to see how close those mics are, and if it's even noticeable. Like if I. I'll try and get the microphones in as similar a spot as each other and see if I can hear any difference between the two tunings. I mean, who knows? I may prefer the new theater mic. Could be. I don't know. Maybe it's shit. I don't know.
We will see, bro.
What's the best for the 90s? I would say the old mic because it was made for it.
Yeah.
But
apparently there is no difference, but we'll see. Like I said, I'm keen on tuning it too and or figuring it out as well. The only problem that I have with it that it's really hard to have that theater microphone in a microphone stand and then do those accurate narrow listening position tunings.
It's impossible, essentially.
Yeah.
Also, if you have the legs folded down, there's no way you can go low enough. I mean, I'm 6'3", right, which is fairly tall, but like that mic is fairly long with those feet down. Like if I sit next to it, it's about here, the top of it. So, meaning you're supposed to do 1, 2, 3 sort of thing with the.
Yeah.
So it can't go low enough. So, yeah.
You gotta get some books and shit, stacking it.
Yeah, but how do you get it lower? Which is kind of like, because you're also not supposed to hold the body of the microphone. Because that
just catches your pulse.
I mean, well, maybe not, but maybe not your pulse. Maybe it's not that sensitive. But surely it dampens the body if you hold it with your fingers. Also, if you like, depending on how much pressure you put on it, it may be audible.
But then also are you able to hold it in that one spot for those 3 minutes that it takes to do the sweep from both speakers?
Yeah. I mean, I use my tripod, so...
but turn it upside down.
I understand that works, but you're not supposed to, because then you...
They're changing the measurement.
Well, you are, but you are by moving it. But the reason for pointing it up, right, is that quite often the reflection of your ceiling are much more noticeable than the reflection of your floor. So if you have it upside down, right? Like you're measuring the
Hmm.
reflections off your couch, which is going to be, or chair, or whatever it is, but which are going to
Minimal.
be considerably less than a bare ceiling.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why you have it upright, because also anything that comes from that way is going to come back in. I mean, a lot of people still hold the mic towards where you want to tune, and that's not correct either.
No.
Because then you measure the reflections this way, not that way. So yeah, maybe I'll if I have a camera again at some point, I may do a video on it. I sort of did a video on it a while ago on how to do your home setup. Can I find it? Let's see if I can find it. That's the last thing I'll pop in chat. Where are you? Oh yeah, that's the one. And we'll call it a day for today. Thank
Indeed.
you for watching, everybody. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I think the super thanks are on as well. If you feel like donating after the fact, very much appreciated if so. But first and foremost, get those likes in. Join our Discord, and we'll see you all next week with
Indeed.
maybe more shenanigans. Who knows?
It's always going to be that.
Bye, everybody.
Take care. Have a good week.